Here we go. All right, here with Ychlindria Spears-Dolce. Um, we know her as the most decorated high school track and field athlete in the state of Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong, 14 gold, and then a total of 20 overall medals at the state meet when you throw in relays,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Of all the success, of all the postseason success in the medals, which ones stand out to you?
Um, Definitely. I mean, obviously, winning the triple jump and setting the national record, that one stands out the most. But I would say also, my freshman year, being from such a small town, kind of bursting onto the scene and getting 4 gold medals at the state meet that year was like a huge deal. It was kind of my introduction to everyone and the state of Texas track and field. And so, outside of breaking the national record and having that gold, definitely those 4 my freshman year.
4 gold your freshman year, as you mentioned, from a small town, and that's Luling.
Luling.
Go Luling.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind these days when you see an athlete who has similar talent and character to you? What goes through your mind now that you're not only a high school coach, but you also have your own jumps facility?
I mean, I think more than anything, I really want to share the journey with those athletes. It definitely is a sense of nostalgia and it takes me back, but it's just sharing the journey that I think is important because you know definitely having talent is important, but it's also about work ethic. It's about being able to embrace the highs and lows of competing, and especially right now, those athletes who are competing in a COVID world, who
Hmm.
we none of us have ever had to face this magnitude, and so I think it's just wanting to share that journey with them and rooting them on and wanting that success for them just as much as I wanted it for myself.
Did you ever, does it ever, hit you that you, the small town girl from Luling, has achieved so much success at the high school level, and then obviously you went on to the University of Texas?
You know, I've always been super humble about it. And I've actually had people tell me, like, you need to, really celebrate the things that you've done. And it's not that I don't, it's just like you said, sometimes it's so surreal. It's like, the way my knees feel now, the way my, hips feel now, I'm like, I can't believe it was me. But even though I was from a small town, I always had big dreams. I believed in myself. I knew that, everything that I did was God allowed me to do it and blessed me with the opportunities and the talent. And so, yeah, it's surreal sometimes to think about all that I've accomplished coming from a town of 5,000 people, for sure.
How have you dealt now as a coach with COVID and your athletes?
Well, just recognizing that, these kids are facing so many different levels of um, complexities right now. They're dealing with not being able to see their friends, they're missing
Hmm.
out on things like homecoming and proms, and they just have all these pressures. And, just I basically am trying to keep them encouraged and stay positive. And um, I know that I can't fully understand what they're going through because, I didn't go through it myself, but just trying to keep them encouraged and let them know that, even though we're going through this right now, there are still things that are waiting you at the other side of this. Your chapter is really just starting. So, yeah, just trying to keep them with a positive outlook.
But you did go through some adversity. I mean,
Yeah.
you enjoyed tremendous high school success.
Hmm.
You go to University of Texas, and there is success, and you're quoted in an Austin American Statesman article that the Olympics were your number one goal, and injuries sort of sidelined that. So tell me, how did you overcome that adversity, and what did you learn about yourself from the adversity, knowing, all right, it won't be the Olympics, but how do I move forward?
Well, I'm not going to lie and say that it was easy. There definitely were some rough patches, and there were moments of depression as it settled in that I'm not going to be an Olympian. Um, but again, I think, a strong, rooted faith. I knew that God, no matter what, had a plan for my life. And honestly, being a coach has really helped to pull me out of that space. I feel so fulfilled being able to help young athletes accomplish their goals and their dreams. So definitely a strong faith, and just God placing me in a position to be able to mentor and coach young athletes. That has been one of the greatest gifts that I've had in my life. So
And you have your own jumps company.
I do.
Tell
Jump
us about
Academy.
tell us about Jumps Academy.
Well, Jump Academy, I founded it 2 years ago. Really with the encouragement of my husband. It's something that I've always wanted to do. We've all been at meets and we see horizontal jumpers, and it's like I've just always been like, if I could just get my hands on that jumper, the things that I would want to do. And so it just kind of started out of just me having a passion for wanting to help young jumpers. I know that a lot of coaches, especially when we're talking like middle school level, even high school level, they don't always have the confidence to coach the jumps. And I just want to be able to help instill that knowledge and share, with my background as an athlete and a coach with young athletes. So I've been able to do that. I have athletes that drive from all over Texas to come train, and it's just been the most exciting thing for me. I'm excited to watch it continue to grow.
What are your future plans for Jump Academy? Is there a brick and mortar facility in the future?
Yes. So ultimately, there is. In the next 2 or 3 years, I'm hoping to have my dream facility built. Indoor runways, indoor, turf and track lanes, and a little, weight facility. So I'm just being patient.
That's
And
awesome.
it'll happen. Yeah.
But the planning is already underway, the initial
Yeah. The planning is
brain.
underway. For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
That is awesome. Now that you're a coach, have you given any thoughts to perhaps someday coaching at the collegiate level?
I have thought about coaching at the collegiate level. I just don't think the collegiate level is for me, mainly because of my family. I am, just new in the parent game. My children are very young, and I know that there is a huge time commitment
Right.
as far as traveling and recruiting and all of those things. And at least for right now, in the foreseeable future, I don't want to take that time away from my children and my husband. So yeah, I like what I'm doing right now and being able to help athletes, outside of my school as well. So I think I'm good right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And finally, as you know, being our latest president of the Texas Track and Field Coaches Association, now our third uh, former president, we're celebrating 50 years of girls track and field in Texas as far as UIL is concerned. I mean, there was track and field prior for girls. What are some of your favorite memories, medals or not? What are some of your favorite memories from competing in high school?
Put me on the spot, huh? um, I just miss the competitiveness for sure. Not even just myself, but I remember, being at the state meet and watching some amazing athletes. There was Brendan Christian and Brian Blanton and Raven McIntosh and just all of these, Kelly Willie, these amazing athletes. And, there was so much pride and you had to bring your A plus 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 game if you were going to compete at the state meet. It was just such an amazing time for track and field in the state of Texas. And I'm a firm believer that we produce the best track athletes, and just, I think for me, I grew up a very shy person. I never liked the spotlight, but I always felt like the state meet was home for me. There would be just tons of people in the crowd and literal spotlights, and I just felt like I was home, and I felt like I transformed into my best self and the best athlete that I was when I was in that stadium. So it was just amazing to be able to compete at that level, year after year. So
Now we know that this generation of jumpers look up to you. Um, we know that you and I actually did an interview with Jasmine Moore, who looks up to you, and now she's at the University of Georgia. What advice would you give to all these the high school girls right now as they're getting ready to embark on their season, as strange a season as it may be still with COVID here, but what advice would you give the high school athlete?
first and foremost, I would say you have to set goals. Even with the situation looking like it does right now, you have to set high expectations for yourself, and you have to believe that you can achieve those. And I speak from personal experience because, when I told people that I wanted to break a national record or win state coming from such a small town, I had people literally laugh, like, what are you talking about? But I believed it, and it starts with me. It started with me. So I know that setting goals are important, and just making sure that you have a strong support system around you, your coaches, your family, your teammates, allowing them to, boost you up and be that support that you need, and vice versa. So I think it just starts with that belief in yourself and setting those expectations for yourself.
That's awesome. Ychlindria, as an athlete, as a coach, as a vital part of the Texas Track and Field Coaches Association, we appreciate you giving some of your time this evening to help us celebrate 50 years of girls track and field in Texas.
Thank you so much for having me.
You stay safe, and we will see you real soon.
All right, hook 'em. If I don't do that.
I knew you had to.
Take care.